Well, I've calmed down a bit, recomposed, and now I'm ready to move on. So, best of categories. Best love story. Some of you may be thinking it'd be Paradise Kiss or Love Roma, and some of you would be wrong. Actually, the best love story I've read this year is in Sand Chronicles between Anne and Daigo. Now, what I loved about the romance in this series is actually that it was very slowly paced, and that it was actually over a long course of time, and actually there was really good pacing, like there was an actual progression in a appropriate amount of aging, like first Hinako drew them in high school, then in seniors, then college, then graduates, and then adults. So there was a progressive passage of time throughout the course of this series, and throughout all of that, you see a lot of Anne and Daigo sort of go in and out with each other over their relationships, and how it all kind of eventually goes back around to them again. And I really enjoyed that, because you know what? That is a lot like real relationships work. You know, it's not just you find someone in high school and you just with them the rest of your life. It's a lot of times you meet someone in high school, you kind of have a thing, you kind of go your own ways, then you both kind of run into each other years later after high school. You kind of have a little thing again, and then you kind of just sort of in and out in between having other relationships with other people, and it kind of goes on that. And I really enjoyed that for these characters, and also the minor characters in the back, who really the two minor characters right here. These two are a majority of the drama in the series because they have kind of messed up lives. And, I mean, that's a little bit... that might be a little bit unfair to throw all the crap on the minor characters to sort of protect the purity of your main characters to keep them likable, but it worked. I'm a little upset, though, that Sand Chronicles, the main plot, ends at Volume 8, and the other 2 volumes of the series are actually, like, bonus filler stories. So, for those of you that just want the meat and potatoes of Sand Chronicles, just get the first 8 volumes. You get the first 8 volumes if you really like them, then get 9 and 10 if you want more backstory and like an epilogue or something. But just get the first 8 and then see if you want the others. That's my recommendation on that. But maybe I'll talk about it later on in a review in more detail. Then let's see, best horror manga. Now this one I already did a top 10, but you know I don't want to bring up Panorama from Hell again, mostly because it's so expensive and nobody's gonna check it out, I'm sure. I mean, hell, I don't even think there's any scanlations of it floating around. You don't usually find scanlations of manga that were made like back in the 80s, and they were by some obscure artist, and there was like only 1 volume of it made. So there's very rare chance that you'll even find it there. But this series, I liked it because it actually was scary. I actually had an emotional connection, and it actually made me feel what it was trying to make me feel. The parts that worked, and the parts that they want, and the things they wanted me to feel as the reader, they made me feel. And you know what? I'm okay with being manipulated, but I don't like it when I can see the strings. That's how I feel about enjoying a story, whether it be movie, TV, or comic, or book. Anything like that. But for that, it is male. And I really loved it. It is short, it is sweet, it is fun, and I loved it. And anyone out there that wants a good horror manga series, or a horror comic series in general, should get it. It's not even just good horror by itself. It's also good horror in the sense of the way that the Japanese like to do horror, with that kind of whole subtlety and suspense and kind of building, and also an emphasis on atmosphere in that sense. And really enjoyed it a lot, and I can't stress it enough. Alright, but moving along, best kids or all ages manga series, and that goes to Yotsuba. Nothing has made me feel more fun, and nothing has ever made me feel that kind of childlike wonderment that Yotsuba is making me feel. It's like you read Azumanga Daioh and you think Yotsuba is just gonna be more of that, and you would be wrong. You would be very wrong with how much fun this series is. Just a little girl just having fun every day, and it's just little kids can have fun, and adults can have fun reading it because they think that's how I was as a kid. That's exactly what it was like. And it's kind of like Rugrats, I guess, in that kind of respect. Except they're little things, and she doesn't make them into big things. And that's kind of the thing that Rugrats did, and that's not how this works. And it's just little things, and she'll have fun, and then she'll kind of overreact and, do other stuff. And that's how little kids act. And I really like it for that. And, however many more that he makes, I'm going to keep getting that many more. I think the 11th volume just came out in Japan, and so I can't wait for that to come out. And anyone that can find them and read them, just get the first volume. That's all you really need to read. There's no ongoing plot. So you can read as much as you want to and quit any time you want, but you won't. That's the problem. All right. Next up, let's see. Best original series. This is a series that, of course, has an idea or concept in it that is something that really stands out for the genius that manga is at finding and carving these little niches in an idea that otherwise in an American comic book market would not fly, because the comic market in America is about 99% dominated by adolescent power fantasy stories. Now, I'll give you credit. There are some like Demon Knights and All-Star Western and even Detective Comics to an extent that do kind of do other things beside the superhero stuff, and even Swamp Thing and Animal Man, and you know what I mean. But when you think of it, you think of that. It's definitely not to the extreme as in manga. And so, to highlight that, I speak in terms of Bakuman as most original. The idea that there's an ongoing comic book series about guys trying to write a comic book is just so meta that it's genius. It's kind of like, Singing in the Rain, or what's that other one? Not Interview with a Vampire. The idea of a movie about making a movie, sort of, or the producers, just the idea of having the story of it be the creation of it is so meta and genius that when it's done well, it's done amazingly. And Bakuman is just that. And I really like, and also on top of that, it has great characters, minus Azuki. I think her name is Azuki, right? Minus Azuki. Azuki's the one bad part of this series. I don't like her. I want her to just go away. But you know what? Unfortunately, what's his name? Unfortunately, Moritaka has a case of the not gays for her, so you gotta take the good with the bad, I guess. Every series can have that one character that you just don't give a crap about, and this is that one for me. But everything else is amazing, and you know what? If that's the only thing I can complain about the series, then I'll be okay with it. So, I'll catch you later for, best shonen series. Alright, here we go.